Hello YouTube, it's Silver Age Dave. I'm here in the comic room. I was watching earlier today a Go To Geeks video, and Lawrence had picked up a copy of Milk and Cheese. He picked up a copy, I think, of this exact book. And I commented back to him that he has now started down the rabbit hole. It's a crazy series. Most people I don't think, know about Milk and Cheese. These guys are real funny. Basically, the history on them in the 80s, Evan Dorkin did underground comics and, independent stuff for slave labor graphics. And he would doodle this cheese character on cocktail napkins in bars. And cheese was, there was actually a couple of versions of cheese, but he would do these little things, and then apparently he added this milk character, and these are bad dudes. The Milk and Cheese, they are bad. Now, Cheese, I think, was a female, but they're always ready to fight and carouse. I mean, they're always drinking. And Silver, if I'm not having a Bud Light, my drink of choice is gin. And so I think Cheese is a gin drinker, but they're ready to fight all the time, and they're very funny. It's a series you can just pick up and read. You don't have to go in any particular order, I don't think. It's more like shorts that happen in there. So I thought I'd do, because Lawrence showed his, and he doesn't know about it, and most people don't know about it. So I had seen these guys, I think, originally on a Vin Crew video. And then, again, you enter the rabbit hole, and it is what it is. So, the first appearance of them in comics was in Greed #6, which coincidentally, Greed got canceled after this. The guy behind Greed had seen Evan Dorkin. He was doodling these things. He was doing art at cons for years on Milk and Cheese, and he said, hey, let's give these guys a home. So Greed #6 is the first place you can find them. They're kind of in the back of the book, and so that's going to be the money book of Milk and Cheese. It's a great thing to have if you get serious about it. But I think the one that you really want is Milk and Cheese #1, and it's hard to figure this out. Evan is real crazy about the printings, which is why I think these are so obscure. Basically, to find Milk and Cheese #1, you want the old slave labor graphics logo over here. You want #1 with a 250 over here, and you don't want anything printed above Milk and Cheese. There are 7 copies of this, or 7 printings that I know of, and I own a few of them. I don't own all of them, I don't think, but I grabbed a bunch of these out just for the video. So these all happen to be first printings, and I love them. So we're going to put those over here. Okay, so that's the first print, #1. Then, boy, this is tricky business. So then, let me turn that a little so we get these in here. So then, whoops, sorry guys. So then Evan came out and he did some reprints, which is why it makes it tricky. And any of the reprints have wording above the top. And so this is a third printing of the #1. We'll stick that there. And then this is a fourth printing of #1, which this is from 1990. I don't know when this was from. I don't think it was 91. It was sometime in the 90s when the fourth print was done. But it says special, non-embossed, no die cut, non-holographic, unenhanced, regular old comic on crappy newsprint, fourth printing. And there's a 5th and a 6th, and I think I saw recently there's a 7th. So, be careful if you're buying those. You want to make sure there's nothing up here on top. Then he came out with #2, which he made fun of the fact that in the 90s, a lot of people would buy the #1 issue of anything as speculators. And so what he did, he called this one Milk and Cheese's other #1. And that, of course, is the second issue. And there's multiple printings. You really have to watch these. The old slave labor graphics logo was on the first printing. This one is I think a third or fourth printing, had the SLG logo. And you can sometimes watch the price point on them. The first print was $250, the fourth print was $275, and then they changed somewhere in there. So again, be careful if you're buying them. But that's part of what the fun is on these things. This is the third #1, Milk and Cheese's third #1, which is basically the third issue. And I think Cheese is flipping everybody off right there. Yeah, so is Milk. They're flipping you right off. Where is the hate, they want to know. And this one is a first print, and it has the old slave labor graphics logo. But you can't always go by that. These must both be first prints, yeah. Okay, so we got that. That's #3. #4, which is what Lawrence picked up, the first printing of it has the old slave labor graphics logo, and it has a $250 price. And then as it moves through the printing process, it went up in price to $275. It's tough to see there. And then went to the modern SLG logo. So that one is #4. Then Evan Dorkin released a trade paperback, and this basically compiles 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is a funny, on the back cover it says here, see milk hate, and he's cussing on there. See cheese drink, hate milk hate, drink cheese drink, see milk and cheese, see stars, as they're punching. I think that's supposed to be Evan there in the picture. So it just funny stuff. And again, this is a reprint of 1 to 4. There are always interesting little short stories in here, but he does one in here. It's called Jury Duty, and I always got a kick out of it. So here they're called to go to jury duty. Okay, yeah, jury duty, 1989, and they're just tearing it up. Here they're drinking Budweiser, throwing stuff around. Everyone's afraid of them, and they go into court. They got these little halos on them because they're so nice. It's, oh yeah, we're no biases. We hate just about everyone equally. Okay, so the bailiff comes in. Will the court please rise? They're just getting started. Judge isn't even in there. And they start losing their minds. Guilty, guilty. Oh, he's guilty as sin. So it's just fun little stories like that. You can read them in bits and pieces and get a kick out of them. So that's the compilation of 1 to 4. It's called Fun with Milk and Cheese, Dairy Products Gone Bad. Inexpensive stuff. Then, being a funny guy, he came out with Milk and Cheese second issue, and it says right here, #5, stupid, so you can kind of get an indication. In these, the first print was $250, and then as you get into later printings, it goes to $275. Second issue. So we've got that. Then issue #6 is easy enough. It's just called Milk and Cheese 666. So it's got a 6 in the title. And then we move on, and we've got Milk and Cheese Latest Thing. This is #7, and he's having a martini here. They got eyeballs in there and olives, and boy, that just looks delicious. Maybe I'll have one of those tonight. And this is pretty. So up here, we're entertaining America one moron at a time, it says. And I get a kick out of these guys. I am a moron that loves to be entertained. And so I thank Evan Dorkin for that. It is humorous, all the stuff they go through. Then after that, they came out with a special edition, which has a little Darth Vader type Spaceballs character on the cover. They came out with a hardcover book. And the last title that I feel is a Milk and Cheese title is simply called House of Fun. So alphabetically, it would normally get filed elsewhere, but I consider this to be part of the Milk and Cheese run, so I keep it with milk and cheese. And this is actually just a compilation of Evan Dorkin humor strips from Dark Horse Presents. Slave Labor, eventually Dark Horse took this title and ran with it. This is a free comic book day copy. I'm not really sure what year this is from. It has the modern, 2003 free comic book day. And they're just funny guys. So they show up in a lot of other places. Pirate Corps and Deadline USA. San Diego Comic-Con's had a version in 92. Dark Horse Presents. They're just all over the place. But if you do decide to start collecting them, Silver warns you, it is really tough. You got to pay attention to the printings, and it's affordable. You don't have to lay a lot of money down. Copies are out there. Guys, it's 11 minutes. Thanks for spending it with me. Silver Age Dave, I'm thinking of you. And Silver Age Dave is out.